Would you like some custom advice on how to level up your art commissions? These 4 artists did right here, and they filled out my Google form on my community tab a few months ago, and I'm ready to deliver it to you. Welcome to Art Mentor. My name is Sean, and here's the value you are going to get out of today's video. You're going to get best pricing practices for what you are interested in. You're going to learn how you can level up your artwork in order to get more clients and more money for it. You ready? Let's do this. All right, so to kick this one off, our first artist today is Sayuweedz. You can go ahead and follow them over on Twitter. Make sure you go ahead and give them some love. I know they'll appreciate it. And they say that their overall genre is cutesy with vibrant colors. Stacey, we're going to talk about that in a minute. They've been doing commissions for a year and they've gotten 22 commissions. Good on you. That's really nice. And they get about somewhere in the area of 2 a month. That's really good. However, though, your pricing, Seizu, we got to talk about this, man. You are $10 to $25. Why they're having trouble with their commissions is because they feel that their prices are too high for the people in their country, and that getting clients is also an issue because they think that their art isn't good enough. All right, Seizu, so let's tackle this big elephant in the room right here. First and foremost is that you are geo-locked. Essentially, you are locked into the set rate and the dollar rate in your current country. Yo, don't think like this. Nobody cares where you live. No one is gonna look at you versus somebody in the United States or Europe and say you deserve less. No, but you will. So don't do that, my friend. You should easily be able to fetch way more than what you're currently doing. I'm gonna tell you why. Now here's a really core fundamental concept, y'all. And for anybody in here that's an anime artist, I really want you to listen up right now. When I ask you, what is your genre? Anime is not a genre. It is a style. No one's gonna ever come to you and just be like, hey, can you just draw this anime thing? Like, what is that gonna be? Can you draw anime spaghetti? Like, no one's gonna be that generic with you. So as I look across all 3 of your images right here, which are all very lovely, by the way, Seizu, you got some great skills, my friend. But you need to narrow down on what is your genre, and I'm gonna give you some advice on that. So take a look at this cute girl. We have a little bit of an issue with proportions, and this is a really common flaw that I see with people that have really elaborate clothing. So whenever you're gonna draw anybody like this, the first thing that you should always do is draw them without clothes. No, I don't mean like that. I don't mean the not safe for work version of it. But I mean that you should check their anatomy before. You can see that there are some pretty big issues with how short her arms are. And also, she doesn't have a neck. So if I were to go ahead and fix this up like I'm doing right here, you can see how much of a difference this is gonna make. You can see how this lets her breathe. You can see how this fixes her entire form. So make sure that whenever you draw your characters, don't use the clothing as an excuse in order to not let them be in the proper proportions. Anatomy and proportions, that is a lifelong endeavor to learn how to do well, but you'll get there, my friend. Overall with this, I believe that you should be making somewhere in the neighborhood of probably $75 to $100 base price on that. And here's what I would recommend you do, friend. A couple of genres you want to check out is, number one, is I would maybe check out fan art, because I do see a lot of your fan art. I see your Genshin Impact stuff. Also though, I would recommend that you also maybe consider going into MMOs. Like if you really like Genshin Impact, go check out some other MMOs, okay? So go check out like Blade and Soul. Go check out World of Warcraft. Like go check out those types of games. Go check out their servers and where clients might be hanging out. So definitely check that out, because I believe in you, Seizu. You got great potential. You've got great art. You're just gonna need to pivot yourself a little bit differently to get the clients and the money that you deserve, my friend. All right, so our next artist is Strawbelly6. You can check them out over on Instagram and Twitter. Definitely give them some love. They'll appreciate that one. So here we have somebody who's a greenhorn, someone that's not even taking commissions. So I got some great advice for you, Strawbelly. And your intended genre is OCs. I got some advice for you on that one, friend. So you're planning to start your commission soon, and essentially you're asking yourself, how should you price yourself and if your stuff is good enough. So let's take a look at your stuff right here. Looking at all your artwork right here, you have wonderful stuff, Strawbelly, but you suffer from one major flaw that's definitely gonna keep you from getting the clients that you want and the money that you deserve, which is that your genre is also misaligned. Y'all, OCs are not a very good genre at all to get in because it's too broad, it's too generic. And this is something that I'm going to say a lot of anime artists really struggle with that aren't getting commissions, is that they always tell me that they're either doing, their genre is anime or OCs, and neither one of those is very good because you're not targeting the type of people that you want. And again, OCs from what? Do you want to do OCs from slice of life? Do you want to do OCs from video games? Do you want to do OCs that are fan arts from shows? Like, you got to really be tuned into exactly what you want to do, or else no one's going to want to buy from you. Here's another thing, just broadly as I look across all three of your artworks right here, Strawbelly. I'm really curious to know, what is your intended aesthetic? When I take a look at this girl, she's very more on the semi-realism side. When I take a look at your Raiden image here, she's more on the like painterly anime side. When I take a look at this image of these two boys, it's great, and it's more on the traditional feel watercolory side. What's confusing here is when you present this many options to a client, they don't know what they're gonna get. You don't want to overwhelm with options. You want to show a client, this is exactly what you're gonna get out of me. Now that being said, you've got really wonderful works. I would just encourage you, pick a style. Now I do have some really good advice for this image right here. All right, y'all, here's a big loaded tip for y'all. As you're going to be doing any characters just like this that have special effects in them, you gotta level up your contrast. If you want this stuff to pop the way it should, you have to implement more dark areas. So one thing that you always want to do whenever you have special effect lighting, whenever you have magic effects like this, is you definitely want to darken up everything around them. You can also see this really well, by the way, whenever you play video games, like when somebody casts magic, like all of a sudden just randomly the entire atmosphere just gets darker. You see this in anime and TV shows, video games, everything always does this effect. So make sure that you bump up your contrast and you increase the darknesses in areas where you don't want that light to be hitting, because if everything is around the same value range, it's really hard and it's confusing for us to know exactly what to look on. All right, Strawbelly, so here's before and here's after. Boom. What do you think about that? So just simple little twists, y'all. Great ways for you to go ahead and level up your special effects lighting. So Strawbelly, here's what I see you doing. Number one is that if you're just starting out, you need to go ahead and start with a base minimum price of no less than $50. So you said originally $30 to $80 in your form. I would not do that, friend. Charge yourself respectably. So here's my marketing strategy for you. I would definitely take a look at what genre you like. Let's say it's Genshin, for example. Here's what I would do. I would go ahead and I would look up some subreddits for Genshin Impact. I would then also go ahead and look up some Discord servers for Genshin Impact. I would go ahead and I would Google too, what are some fan sites that have forums where people post their artwork, and maybe you get some clients from there. Y'all, don't just think about the big areas that you can advertise on. Look for places where those clients are, and not just where people are lurking trying to look at nice artwork, because you want people that aren't just gonna digest your art, they're gonna purchase your art. Am I right? Strawbelly, thank you so much for submitting your stuff. This was awesome. I hope you found this helpful. If so, tell me down below. If you got something good out of this video right now so far, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for more content just like this, so that more artists just like you can benefit from it. And hey, if you really want to benefit and really take your art to the next level and you're ready for that, let me tell you about my Art Mentorship program. So this is my one-on-one coaching system. It's not a course. It's not a class. It's not generic content. This is me and you working one-on-one to meet your goals, to get into your career, to get the attention of the art directors that you want to get. So what you get out of this is a unique, tailored program that's going to solely focus on what you need to do to bring your art to the next level. So if you want to be my client and you want to learn more about my Art Mentorship program, check out the link down below, fill out that Google form, and I'll reach out to you soon. Now let's move on to the next one. Check this out. So next up we have Ray, and you can go ahead and check out Ray on Reddit, DeviantArt, Instagram, and Twitter, and they mostly do fantasy-based characters. Now they've been doing commissions for about a year, and they've got 45 in a year? Like, that's great. And their base range price starts at $100, so we're getting really respectable, aren't we now? This is nice, this is nice. They say that their biggest problem is not knowing how to attract or find new clients. So let's take a look at why that is and some advice for you. So Ray, as I look at your current portfolio right now, you have some really wonderful pieces. Like, y'all, check these out. These are great. However, though, I do see some technical concerns that I want to point out to you so that you get more clients that lock into you and want to purchase your art. Check this out. So when you take a look at this image, this perfectly fits into your fantasy genre, okay? However, though, here's some things that I would fix up. let me just show you what this girl looks like in her base anatomy. I want you to really notice how thin that waist is. So what I would definitely recommend you do, my friend, is you definitely got to level up your proportions. I want to make her proportions look like they're more realistic a little bit more. I get that y'all do an anime, you have a style on this, and I'm saying this, by the way, as somebody who used to be an anime style artist too, so that's why I can comment on it. But you want to make sure that you do adhere to anatomy, because honestly, anime anatomy, it's not that far off from actual human anatomy. The next thing I would recommend you do is you want to go ahead and you want to start to separate out your backgrounds. And I see that you have this little bit of a light haze, but I would recommend you do is start to implement some more desaturated blues. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm just going to mask out your background, and then I'm going to go ahead and just get a nice desaturated lighter blue. And now just go ahead and use that to just kind of dull out your background. What you don't want is you don't want to have oversaturated components in the front and in the back, because then we don't know where to look. I'm also going to apply the same exact concept to bring out some more contrast in shadow shapes in the character too. So as you watch me do this right here, check it out. I'm going to use a darker desaturated blue just to pull out more contrast. I have this on a multiply mode, by the way, and I'm just going to go ahead and get some more contrast and more dark shadows up in here. So check this out. Here's before, boom, here's after. See the difference right there? It's not a lot, but just doing these little tweaks really gonna get you to the next level, right? Now let's go ahead and let's talk your marketing strategy, since that is what you recommended, okay? As you told me in your form, you want to do fantasy, right? You've got great artwork. However, though, I'm just gonna be real, this schoolgirl doesn't fit whatsoever in the fantasy genre. Anyone here that wants to do fantasy genre, here is my ultimate advice for you. You need to make more archetypes of fantasy style characters for people to lock onto and want to purchase from you. So for example, do a big brawny knight, do a mage character. It can be either somebody that's more the black mage or the white mage end of it, that's all good. Do a thief or a rogue or an archer, do those ones too. Another thing that you can definitely start to do too, my friends, is definitely switch up your races. Like don't just all do white people, and don't just do all humans either. So the more diversity that you have, the more of a larger pool of people are going to look at it and say, boom, I can purchase from that person because they can make what I want. Ray, you got some really great skills, my friend, and you are definitely going to get there to that next level. Can't wait to see it. Now let's take a look at Sis Inside Art. You can go ahead and find them on Instagram, and the genre they want to get into is fantasy, RPG, and D&D. Also anime fan art. First thing you should be able to figure out by now is that this is a really broad spectrum. So you really need to hone in and figure out what do you want to do. The best way that you can figure this out is just pick your passion point, y'all. So what I mean by that is, imagine that you weren't getting paid whatsoever, and what do you enjoy doing the most? Which one of those four, because there are four of them you just identified, do you really want to do? So they're also agreeing. So they're thinking along the lines of starting their pricing at about $150 for a character sheet. They want to do $100 for a full body character. That's pretty good right there. And their biggest difficulty is talking to clients in the whole bureaucratic side of art. I totally get that, and that's why I make all my content, which, by the way, if you're not familiar with how to do that, check out my video right here. I made all about that. It's also down below in the description. Now let's take a look. Let's see if you really are good enough to start your commissions. So if we take a look at all three of these, your portfolio tells me, yes, man, you are 100% ready for this. I do have some advice for you though. It's something that's gonna make your stuff pop more, and you're gonna get more eyes on your work. So check this out. So checking out this image of this boy with a flower. Wow, this pops so nicely where those flowers are, but here's what you want to do too, y'all. You have to control your saturation points, especially when you have a full painted illustration just like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just desaturate the entire background. I'm going to do that just with a simple adjustment layer. I'm going to mask out so it's just that background. So now you can see how through contrast and the saturation points, it's going right to the boy, but I still think it could be a little bit better. So now I'm going to bring some color dodge and some other layer effects into his eyes and the flowers, because right now what's kind of bugging me about this is that it's less about the character, it's more about the flowers a little bit too much. So I'm going to make sure that I make his eye stand out a little bit more, so that that's where my eyes are going to go. Because again, nobody's going to buy your artwork just so that you can paint a flower. They're going to want a character featuring that thing. So make sure that they always stand out. So check it out. It's kind of minor, but it's a big deal. Here's before and boom, here's after right there. Just control those saturation points. Now, this is Inside Art. Let's talk your marketing. I actually have a rather unusual one that I don't usually tell people, but I think it'll help you out, okay? I think that what you need to start to do is, I think you need to develop your own IP. I think that you could very easily create an IP based in the universe that you want. Let's say hypothetically that you wanted to make a fantasy one, right? Make your own set of characters in your own fantasy IP and do some character sheets for them. If you're in the anime world, character sheets are pretty big and they're also pretty expensive, so it's a good place for you to be at. And you charge $150, yeah, somewhere in the neighborhood, $150 to $300, I think is a fair price for you for that. But if you create your own IPs, you serve double duty here, because you're not only gonna make your own original concept and idea, but you're also gonna be able to serve someone else's, and therefore you double dip. You see how that works? So do this with your own characters, with your own illustrations, and just think of how you can also use that in order to buffer yourself into getting more clients. See how that works? Thanks for submitting this stuff, Sis. I hope this was really helpful for everybody watching that one too. Now, we're definitely not done with how you can improve your anime artwork, how you can make it stand out, how you can make it look more vibrant and alive. So I made an entire video all about it, which you can watch right here, about how to improve your anime art. Go check that out.